What's up, attackers, and welcome to our Hearthstone Curse of Naxxramas Arachnid Quarter Dungeon Crawl. As you all know, and I'm assuming that because why else would you be watching a Naxxramas video, this is the brand new single-player dungeon crawl-like expansion for Hearthstone. Naxxramas will feature 5 wings, much like the World of Warcraft raid instance, with 30 new collectible cards and a few new game modes. Anyways, let's check out the Arachnid Quarter, which is the first of the 5 wings, available for free beginning today, July 22nd. There are 3 boss battles you need to do to complete this wing on normal, with the first being Anub'Rekhan. Anub'Rekhan is you guessed it, it's a spider, whose deck includes tons of cards with Death Rattle. Death Rattle meaning when the card dies, something happens in its place. I noticed a few of the cards were detrimental to Anub himself, like his first card here, which is Death Charger, which deals 3 damage to himself upon death. Another quick thing to point out is that his hero power costs 2 mana, like usual, and it summons a 3-attack, 1 health Skitter. Being the first boss, I didn't find him too difficult. I used my Fuck You Mage deck, sorry about that, which is basically filled with spells designed to keep the board clean and go straight for the enemy's face. While Anub was able to place a lot of cards on the playing field, most of them didn't have a lot of health, so it was kind of easy to keep the board clean, just like I was hoping. Being that he did have many cards with Death Rattle, it was helpful that I had Polymorph available, because it saved me a few times on his bigger cards, like his Anub Ambusher at 5/5 and his Nerubian Egg, which seems innocent at first, but when it's killed, it Death Rattles into a 4/4 Nerubian, which sucks. I tried to stay away from them while on the board and used Polymorph to clean him up, which worked really well. I basically won the first game pretty quickly with my Ragnarok dealing the most damage near the end and keeping all of his puny cards off the board. So Anub'Rekhan, pretty simple, which you would probably expect from the first battle in the first wing and the first boss for free. Next up was Grand Widow Faerlina. I again took my Fuck You Mage deck into battle as I didn't really know kind of what to expect, but I thought I did fairly well in my first match that she might just do well again. Wrong I was. I hate to give up the ending so quickly, but she completely starved me out. Now, my deck doesn't have a lot of cards for the board, it's mostly just spells. The main issue was that her hero power, Rain of Fire, dealt 1 damage for each card I had in my hand, which I generally like to have cards in my hand with this deck. So that's right, on turn 2, she could hit me for 4, 5, or 6 damage with just 2 mana, which totally busted really any chance I had. I knew after seeing her hero power that there was really no way that I could keep up. She kept putting out cards with Death Rattle, as that's the theme of the expansion, and slowly picked away at me. Polymorph was no good as it took 4 mana along with my hero power, and by then it was too late in the game and I can only erase 1 of her cards at a time, so it just kept so many cards in my deck that her Rain of Fire would ruin any chance I had to mount any sort of comeback. I lasted 8 turns and it wasn't even that close. So I rethought my strat and decided to just go and wreck her quickly. Same deck though. So I kept no cards, I was going to just send them all out and just basically rush her, which I was able to do. Luckily for my draw, as I kept getting low-level mana cost cards that kept them out on the board. So on turn 4, my Sorcerer's Apprentice allowed me to throw out all my spell cards, and over the next 2 turns, I just really cleaned up. Polymorph also really helped me out with the higher cost cards, so I ended up winning just on turn 6 by just rushing the shit out of her, which was awesome. So that was boss 2. Next was Maexxna, another ugly spider. This one actually even uglier than the first. What I noticed right off the bat was, along with being the final Arachnid Quarter boss, was that his hero power, Web Wrap, costs 3 mana and can send a random card of mine on the board back to my hand. I thought, shit, I need to get cards out there to even stand a chance. And like I said earlier, my deck and the limited amount of playable cards, I was not going to fare very well. I basically knew right off the bat again that I stood no chance, at least with this deck, but you know, I'm not going to give up right away. All of his Death Rattle cards and the ability to keep the table full, I could really do nothing. He basically just slowly whittled me down, almost always having 3 to 5 cards out on the table at any one time. He wiped me out on turn 12 or 13, I forget now because I had my back up against the wall the entire time and was really only delaying my inevitable death, which like I said I knew would happen right from the get-go. So, round 2. I decided to get out of the Fuck You Mage deck because I didn't think it would work, and tried out my Druid deck, which I don't have a clever name for, sorry. This deck is not really built to any guides online, it's just kind of thrown together with cards I like, and it's really good at keeping enemies off the table. So I again went for the strategy that worked on the Grand Widow Faerlina, with just basically rushing the shit out of him. I luckily started with an Inner Veil and a Thrallmar Farseer, so I used both those right in conjunction, which gave me a 2-3 with Wind Fury right off the bat. I followed that turn up with some Taunt because I knew he'd be able to send a random card back to my hand, and I was just praying that it wasn't my Thrallmar, and of course it wasn't. Bingo. I also got a great card with the Demolisher, who sent out damage at the start of each of my turns, and it helped me keep his board clean, which then I could use with the Wind Fury and just slowly just pick away at him. I basically just throttled him right from the get-go with the Wind Fury and back-to-back Starfires, which totally wrecked him. I was very extremely lucky with my card draw. I don't think I could have even picked a better draw for myself had I been able to. Turn 8, and the victory was mine. So that was it. I had defeated the 3 bosses, got 3 new Naxxramas cards for my deck, and had a pretty fun time doing it. 5 matches, 3 wins, and probably about 40-45 minutes of playtime. Took a little longer because there was a bunch of lag throughout a few of the games, which is unfortunate, kind of sucked. But I figured there was a lot of people playing, so I just had to deal with it. Beating the normal mode unlocked the class challenge, and also got me the Maexxna card, and got me ready for next week's dungeon, the Plague Quarter. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Leave us a like and a subscribe, and I can't wait to check you guys out on the next video. See ya.